The HoneyDew with Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the HoneyDew, y'all. We're over here doing it in the Night Pants Studios. I'm Ryan Sickler. Want to say thank you to everyone out there who supports this show, who supports anything I do. I'm genuinely grateful for you guys. If you got to have more of this show, then I tell you every week and have been for years, you got to have the Patreon. It's this show, the HoneyDew, with y'all. And you guys have the wildest stories on the internet. It's $5 a month, all right? And if you or someone you know has a story that has to be heard, please submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. Hopefully we'll get to do an episode together. If you've already submitted, bump it up, resubmit. We get a lot of them. We would love to do an episode with you guys, all right? That's the biz, and you know what we're doing over here. We're highlighting the lowlights, and I always say these are the stories behind the storytellers. I am very excited to have this guest on here. First time on the HoneyDew. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Piff the Magic Dragon, John Vanderput.
Hello.
Welcome to the HoneyDew.
Thanks
John
for having
Vanderput.
me. Look at that.
Hell yeah, buddy.
I came half dragon today.
Half dragon. I'm good with half dragon.
Half dragon is more than enough. You know.
Well, I've never met you before. I've been having a great time talking to you. Before we get into your story, please promote everything and anything you'd like. Your special, all of it.
Yeah. I have a show in Las Vegas at the Flamingo. 6 nights a week and forever until the end of 27. We just got renewed for another 3 years.
How many years you been doing it already?
This is our 10th year.
Damn,
Yeah.
Good for you.
10th year.
6 nights a week?
6
How
nights a
long
week.
is the show?
It's like a 90-minute show.
Okay. That's
And
a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot, bro.
Just me shouting consistently all the way through it. Usually at small children. Because people they see the dragon outfit and they're like, oh yeah, let's bring along a 5-year-old. And then by the end of the show, the kid's crying, they're leaving, they're shouting obscenities. It's not good. But so we have that show. And then we also tour. And we just sort of do it all the time. On our dark night, on Friday night is our day off. So we'll do the show Thursday, get a red eye, land, do a tour show Friday, and then Saturday morning come back to Vegas. And those dates are piffthemagicdragon.com/tour. And we're adding all new dates all the time. There are a whole bunch of dates up there. And we have a special, Piff the Magic Dragon Reptile Dysfunction, which is out on YouTube.
I love it.
And that stars me and Penn Jillette from Penn and
yeah,
Teller.
of course. Yeah,
and he plays my father, who comes back into town for one last go around. So that's been out for a couple of years. And
I love Penn and I've always loved Penn and Teller. Have you been? Were you a Penn and Teller fan before you met them?
I actually got my big break on their show in 2011.
Okay.
And like the idea of the show is you go on and you try and fool them with a magic trick. And I go on and I do it, and I wasn't really interested in whether I fooled them or not. I was just like happy to be there. But they basically sort of didn't really know how it worked. The trick I did. And then Teller comes up to me and he draws something, and it was like nothing to do with how my trick worked. And I just went, sure, buddy, whatever it is, why not? And so they were like, oh, you didn't fool us. And I came off the show and I thought it was a disaster. And then when it aired, like 4 months later, everything blew up, made my career. It was like the start of my career. And they said, we're really sorry, you fooled us. We just didn't admit it. Although now I still argue with them over that.
Is that right?
They say I fooled them.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't fool you. You know how it works. But yeah, that was like my first big break in this business, really.
So let's go back to the very beginning. Tell me, where are you from originally? Mom, dad, siblings?
I'm from London,
Okay.
in the UK originally. I have a mum, I have a dad. They're about to celebrate their 50th anniversary.
They're still together and
Still
alive
together.
and well. All
They're
right.
great. They got engaged on their first date.
Come on.
On their first date.
That's true. How did
Yeah.
you meet? What was their first date?
They met through church. They knew each other in the church they went to. They went to the movies. And I think on the way, when my dad dropped my mum off, he was down on one knee proposing.
Did he have the ring already? Like, did he know going into this?
He
right?
can't have had the ring.
If he did, he's a psycho.
If he did, I'm
He's a
questioning my mother and every choice she made. It's like,
Yeah.
And now the worst thing is I'm going to have to ask. And I'm gonna
How
have to-
old were they when they did this?
11. No, they were
It had to not be much later.
I think it was like mid-30s.
Oh, that is later, I thought.
Mid-30s, I think.
That's also, I would expect a younger couple to make a rash decision, like and not a couple in there.
Crazy.
And it's still 50 years.
And then they got married 3 months later. They didn't even let it, settle for a couple of years. 3 months later, they got married.
Engaged, date one, and 3 months later, they're already fully married.
And
wow.
Almost 50 years still together. Crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So I was very lucky. And I also have a brother and a sister, younger brother, older sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did your parents do? What were
my
their
dad was in insurance.
Okay.
And my mum looked after the house and brought up us kids. But she also then, like, after we were growing up, she started working as a assistant teacher. And she loved that. She still kind of keeps busy with that stuff.
Is your dad retired now? Probably,
he's retired.
Right? Yeah.
He's being a writer now.
But your mom still likes to sort of stay involved with that.
Yeah, she likes to keep her hand.
I like that. That's cute.
Yeah.
What about your brother? What does he do?
He's a director.
Is he?
Yeah.
Have you worked together yet?
No.
We
worked together a lot.
Will you kill each other if you work together?
He would kill me, I think.
Yeah.
We worked together when I first started doing, like some stand-up. Him and I did a double act, and I loved it, but it wasn't for him. So he does these great little short film, like very serious short films about real issues and trauma.
So what came first for you, stand-up or magic? Like
it was magic.
It was.
For sure. And that's the thing, is like I like put like bits of stand-up in my shows still, and I'll do like 5-10 minutes here and there. But I always come back to the magic, because I love that you can like create this thing that's completely impossible, and no one's done it in the world ever, And it's like this trick that you can suddenly pay your rent with, and like but these days what I try and do is I try and think of the funny idea first.
This is what I wanted to ask you. Yeah. You think of the idea first.
Yeah. And so like comedy magic is one of the worst things there is on the face of the earth. I actually grew up hating magic. I hate probably 99.5% of it. I think like most magicians out there are just lazy and just, they buy the trick and they just copy the person whose, video they're showing.
I also, back in the day when I was writing and producing as well in TV, I wrote promos for a show called The Hidden Secrets of Magic or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're going to make this SUV disappear. And they literally dropped a curtain, put hooks on top of the fucking thing, and then raised it up. And I was like, hold on. I don't know anything about magic. That's how I would do that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not magic. That's just cheating.
Exactly.
And I was like, well, that's not magic. So then when I see guys who come around, I'm a big sleight of hand fan.
Right.
Like, I like watching someone right in front of my face fool me.
Right.
Make my whole brain, eyes, and senses lie to me right there in front of my face. I like that.
That's how I started. I was like that for like 20 years, just sleight of hand magic.
What was the thing what was it for you that you saw where you're like that? And what did you start digging with?
There was a show, late night, BBC Two in the UK, that had these magicians like Amazing Jonathan, an English guy called Jerry Sadowitz.
Can I just tell you one of my favorite things he used to do? I used to watch him a lot stand up, and he go, "Anybody have a lighter? Anybody have a lighter?" And somebody be like, "I got one." He go, "Throw it up here," and they throw it up, and he just put it in a jar and set it down like it was a that shit. I don't know why I remember that. I laughed like that's a fucking good.
Did you see that bit we did with the tiny arm?
No.
He's there on a t-shirt, and he's like, "Now listen, I've been in this business for a long time, and I've actually been hiding a secret, and I'm tired of it. I want to just be me. This is a prosthetic. This is not real. So look, let me just show you." And he turns around and he comes back and he's got like a plastic baby arm, and he's like, "This is my real arm," and everyone just like loses it, and he's like, "What? How are you laughing at this? I come out here showing you the real me, and you just laugh openly in my face." I was just on the floor. It was so good. And then he's like, he's like trying to hold the microphone with his tiny arm. He's trying to like wipe his face with his tiny arm. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing of all time. And I was lucky enough to meet him and spend some time with him. Just the funniest guy.
Well, you're also, what I'm hearing is guys like him who you admired and Penn they seem to respect you as well.
Yeah,
when
that's
they'll
the
come
thing.
back and
That's
work
the
with
thing
you.
that from that break on that TV show, the biggest thing that happened was it was just as YouTube was kind of like really kicking in. It got sent all around the world, and all these people who are my heroes, watched it. So I went to Las Vegas like a year later to do some magic convention thing. Everyone knew who I was.
Wow,
it was crazy. And then, but you know how they knew as well, because so I did that show in 2011. 2012, I go to Vegas. The night before I go, somebody sends me a clip of a Russian magic show, and they have this guy who dresses up as me, and he does my act move for move, beat for beat. The only thing he changed is I have a chihuahua, he has a guinea pig. It was unbelievable.
What do you call himself?
He calls himself Andre the Magic Dragon or something, because his name is Andre. It was amazing. But it's you remember when they remade Psycho? They did it was Gus Van Sant. He did the just the color remake. It was like that. It was like shot for shot. They even did like all the shots that the directors cut to. It's unbelievable. Maybe like I will put it on my YouTube channel or something. I don't know, but so that happened, and when I landed in Vegas, all of these magicians were outraged, and all of these, like David Copperfield, Lance Burton, all these guys, they knew about it. So yeah, Penn and Teller were the ones who made my career.
That's great.
Yeah.
What was your first show?
I don't know. It was I was
elementary school, or are you just doing
friends' birthday parties?
What was the first trick you really mastered?
Mastered?
Yeah, mastered.
But the first trick I loved was the linking rings. Like these silver rings. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the reason I loved them was because I met this. The first time I really saw magic was like a Ren fair, but we didn't really have those in the UK, but it was like one of those. And they had a jester there, and he was doing these linking rings, and he gave two to me, and they linked in my hands, and then they unlinked, and I was like, oh my God, I can do magic. I can do this, guys. I'm a natural. I should. So then I like begged my mom to buy me that trick, and it arrived, and I was like, wait, this is all broken. Like these two are already stuck together. This one's got a hole in it. What's going on? And then I realized that you had to do sleight of hand to make it all look the same. But I was telling you earlier, that was the guy. My mom had a photo of that guy, and years later, I said to all my magician friends I knew, who's this guy? Because this is the moment I took up magic. And they've tracked him down. And they were like, oh yeah, his name's such and such. He's in jail because he punched a 9-year-old. in the face. In the face.
Well,
and went to jail.
That's where you do want to get him.
I was like, yes, that's the origin story I need.
He lost his fucking shit. So good. No more of this guy.
Because he's just dealing with dickheads like me being like, oh, I can do this. I've got a superpower. Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of you, son of a bitch. Yeah.
So great.
So
I did that. But then what happened was, the more I started loving comedy more and more. And I didn't like doing the tricks without jokes. And then eventually you get, like that's what I was saying about comedy magic. Like the best way is when Penn and Teller are the masters at this. Jonathan used to do it. Like the premise is funny. So we got, like at the moment in the Vegas show, my dog, someone names a drink, any drink, and my dog pisses it into a cup, and they can drink it, and it's the real drink. So like that, it's like straight away, I already want to see that trick in action. Whereas if I was saying to you, oh, okay, well, you choose a card, right? Then you write your name on it, and then you put it back, and it disappears. It's in my pocket, but then it's in my wallet. It's just like, oh, who cares? I don't care about that. Like, give me a dog pissing a drink any day. So that was the sort of magic I really got into.
So in your act, as you're coming up with things, are you, like as a comedian, once we drop our special, we don't do that material anymore. Yeah. We go out. So are you constantly having to come up with new tricks too? And
but it's much worse.
But do you do like what matters to you more? Do you come up with new jokes as well, or are you like, my jokes are good?
Here's
These
the
tricks
deal,
are what
right?
I need to be.
Comedians are always like, oh, we've got to have new material. My life is so hard. It's like, you don't have to do the impossible. Like, basically, you can go on stage, you could try a joke, and if it bombs, you just go, oh, I'll come back tomorrow. Like magicians, and there were like 5 famous magicians, maybe. Think of all the comedians out there. Maybe there were like 5 famous magicians. So it's a much higher bar to entry because you have to come up with an idea. That's impossible. Then you have to find a way to do it. Then you have to find a way to do it on stage live in front of people. And you try it in front of people. And the people go, nah, not really into this. So then you have to remake it all. So like this whole process is like a 2-3 year process, tens of thousands of dollars to get like one new bit that's like 3-4 minutes. So we all try like to not put our good shit on TV, but you have to do something to get. So we burn some stuff. I've probably got I've been doing this Piff the Magic Dragon act like 15 years, and I've probably got 2.5 hours of stuff if I stretch. And like all of it is blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
And like years and years of development into it.
Can you tell us a time where maybe you've ever like literally dropped the trick or fucked up?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
But where we would notice it, or you can cover that shit up. We're, so good now.
Yeah, no, there was like.
And how do you recover? Do you use comedy since you're already in that sort of realm to play it off?
There was just recently, I had this childhood idol magician called Guy Hollingworth. And if you like sleight of hand, I'll send you some of his stuff. He's like the greatest sleight of hand of all time. And he's like this very charming English guy. I love him to bits. So, but when you meet people and you're like, oh, we're from 2 different worlds, we will never be friends. This, the dream of us hanging out together will never come true. So, then he comes to Vegas and his partner wanted to come and see my show. And I'm like, really? Maybe the dream's back on. So I'm like, okay, come to the show. So they come to the show. And bear in mind, this is a show I've done, for like 3 years, at least 5 nights a week. This is like bedded in material. Every single thing that could go wrong went wrong. And when I say went wrong, they went wrong without an ending. It was just like, oh, we just have to stop now and just go to the next bit. Because we can't, there's no
cleanup. Yeah.
I used to say like, tricks don't go wrong. They just have different endings. No, sometimes you're just done. And we ended up, it was so bad, we fired like one of our staff members over it because they just kept messing everything up so badly. And I was just like, oh, there's nothing I can do to take back what just happened. My childhood idol will never see the show again, and this is what they remember. And some stuff like that, you say that's when magic sucks because it's just terrible. But that's like it's like a 1% occurrence usually because you're dealing with physics, and physics doesn't always work. So, or it comes up with new types of physics that you hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
So yeah, like 99%. But I don't think the nice thing is, so I think magicians have it a lot worse when it comes to new material. But I think comedians have it a lot worse when it comes to bombing than magicians. Because magicians often, if you can get to the end of a trick, the audience is going to applaud.
Even if you can't, you got another one coming right behind it that's going to make them forget about that.
You can normally get off stage, to some sort of ovation. But as a comedian, when I've done stand-up and I've got nothing there behind me, I'm like, oh, I miss it so much. I miss it. I just want that, and there's the 5 clubs. My name's Piff the Magic Dragon. I'm out. But,
we were talking before the show. So let me ask you this, because you talked about some health issues you had before we recorded. Yeah. But how long, you said 2011 is where it really sort of popped off for you, right?
Off,
so, but how long had you been doing this before? What's the grind for you?
I was a late developer for sure.
You were?
Yeah.
How old were you when you started?
I started when I was 14, 15, doing magic and little magic shows. Then when I went to university and because I went there to get a backup degree in case the magic didn't work out. And I did card tricks all the way through university. I studied computer science, and I thought I was going to like learn like useful things, but it was like ones and zeros. So I was in lectures, and the guy was like, "Okay, you want to go 1 0 0 1 1 0 0 0 1 1 1 0. Of course, you don't want to do 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 1 0 1. That would be stupid, right?" And the whole class would laugh, and I'd be like, "I don't."
I don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
What's happening, people? So, so I did that, and then I got a job in IT when I came back, and then I like had this weird pain in my side, and it went on for like 6 weeks, and then.
And this is how old are you when this is happening?
22.
Okay.
And I just was like, "Oh, this doesn't feel good. I think I should go to the hospital." And I went, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you should lie down here for a little bit." And I think I stayed there for like 6 weeks.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it turned out they didn't know what it was. For
6 weeks?
Yeah, 6 weeks. And it was just a mass. It was like horrible stomach pain. And so it took them 2 years to find out what it was.
Get the fuck out of here.
2 years.
6 weeks you're in there. So when did they release you? Why are they like, okay, well, here you go. And 2 years later?
No. No, I'm saying, so 6 weeks, I get out, and then a month later, I'm back in, and then I'm in and out for 2 years.
Oh, I thought you meant they.
No.
Oh my God, you're going back and forth for 2 years.
Yeah.
For them, what was it?
It turned out to be pancreatitis. Chronic pancreatitis, which you get in a couple of ways. Mostly you get it through drinking. So which means you don't get any sympathy as a patient. Because like, wow, you did it to yourself, didn't you?
And can they tell? They can tell it's alcohol induced?
No. They can tell, but people who hear about it don't know. They just assume that it was, because it's so rare to get it any other way. I got it the other way, which is like you have a couple of tubes in your pancreas, and one of mine was missing the middle, which is not a good design in a tube. So all of the pancreas stuff was getting all backed up. And it's very, this is where I'm like, how is life a real thing? But your pancreas emits, like gives out this liquid that has a time delay on it. And when it gets to your stomach, it activates and then dissolves all the meat in your stomach.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's how that shit works?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, the problem is, if it doesn't get there, it's got a time delay on it, so it starts digesting your pancreas.
Oh, it starts digesting itself?
Yeah. So
and that's what's happening to your body for 2 years?
2
your
years.
pancreas is eating itself?
Yeah, and I didn't know. So then I found out, and it carried on eating itself for another 2 years because they tried all this stuff. And in the end, they were like, okay, there is an operation we can do where we can like cut the top of your pancreas off and stick your intestine up there and sew it all together. And I was like, oh, that doesn't sound safe. And they were like, it's very unsafe, actually.
They said that?
Yeah.
It's just like,
funny you brought that up. They were like, actually.
Good thing you mentioned
Yeah. And it was something like,
why the hell are you suggesting it?
It was something like, well, because it was the only way. That was the
really was?
It was the only way. It was that, or continue to like have this like attacks all the time and
just deal with
hospital all the time. And
was it deadly if you kept it going?
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
So that's what they ended up having to do?
So they did this, right? And they're like, it was a 1 in 3 chance of like.
Oh, the odds suck too.
1 in 3. I'm like, buddy, 1 in 3 is not.
So you could end up going through this whole surgery and still it doesn't work and you're still having problems?
No.
You're not talking about dying.
It was a 1 in 3 chance that you don't get through the operation.
That's
real? What they were saying, yeah.
You don't even make it? Why?
Yeah.
What happens?
Because then what they do, they cut it. They take out. They have to take out everything because your pancreas is in the middle. This is why everyone dies of pancreatic cancer, because it's the worst one.
No shit. So I'm thinking it's 30% chance it works.
No.
It's 30% chance you're living.
I think it was a good chance it's going to work. It was like a 2/3. If you don't die, you're probably okay. And I was like, oh god,
holy shit.
So, and there's nothing like that pressure, when they're like putting all the medicine in you, they're like count backwards from 10, and you're like 10, 1 in 3. That is not 9. I mean, I don't think 1 in 3 is so I don't think we should out, But luckily it all worked. And it was literally like, suddenly I got my life back.
How long was the recovery for you?
It was like 3 months.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
Were you like when you opened your eyes? Were you like, "Holy shit, I made it"?
Yeah,
you had to be,
totally.
Right? You were.
I was, a bit like in the bed, can't move.
Is it ever trip you out though that if you hadn't woke up, like that was just the end? It's just black for you right there. You're just gone. You don't know anything at the end.
Well, I don't really understand consciousness. So I'm always a little bit concerned by this. I was brought up to believe that we live forever in heaven or hell, and I was like, neither sound like a good option. Like, I think I'd like one end in sight, please. So yeah, everything about like, closing my eyes, like.
Are you saying goodbye to your family or anything in case, or your parents there, or like this is my kid.
Everyone was there.
Out.
Everyone was freaking out, but.
And also, what a decision to have to make. You must be in so much fucking pain that you finally are like, 30%, I'll take it.
But you know what? There were bright spots. I got a catheter.
That's a bright spot. That gives me shivers.
Have you ever had a catheter?
No, I refuse.
Oh my God.
I fought the ladies at the hospital.
Treat yourself.
I can't even think about it right now.
Listen, go in there. Now look, you don't want to be awake when they put it in.
Yeah, they wanted me to be.
No,
that
you
was my argument. Like,
I'm just going to tell you that right now. You don't want, but they can change that. You don't have to be awake.
Yeah.
They put it in, right? Here's the thing. It takes away your pee before you even think about it.
What do you mean?
So you know how like you need to pee, well, you don't need to do that anymore. Full stop. You never need to pee.
You don't get the sensation of emptying bladder?
No, you don't even get the concept of a bladder.
You don't even know you're peeing?
No.
And they'll be like, look at this whole jug you filled up. And you're like, that came out of my body?
Exactly. You're not there going, I need to pee now. Luckily, I've got this tube so I don't have to get up. It's just gone. The clarity I had in my mind for that week and a half.
From a tube up your dick.
Oh my God. I tell you, like needing to pee takes up a lot of space in my head. Because especially now I don't get around to it. And I'm like, oh God.
I don't get around to it.
I still need to pee. I've just been doing all this stuff. Oh, it's the worst. And the catheter clarity is like no other clarity in the world.
I've never in my life heard this. I watched my daughter's mom when she had our daughter. At the end, after it, they wanted to put one in her and awake, and she fought. Like she did fight, and they held her down and put that damn thing in. And then she was fine after they got it in. But man, I don't want that going in me while I'm awake.
There's a lot of things I've done that
did it hurt when they pulled it out?
Oh yeah, it was it's the worst.
Okay.
I mean, I'd rather they cut it off. To be honest, like,
you're leaving that part
because they pull it out.
Yeah, how long? Look how long that is.
And then it's like you know those modeling balloons. It's like boom, it's like one of them. It is the worst coming out. But sometimes you have an experience. You go, yeah, look, it didn't turn out great, but it was enjoyable while I was doing it. And that was one of those.
And how's your health now?
Great.
It worked. And it's continued to work.
Yeah.
How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 44 now.
So this is 20-some years it's lasted for you.
Yeah.
And you're okay.
Yeah.
All
perfect. Right. Yeah. I mean, I just gave up drinking. I had to. Which I did for many reasons.
Yeah.
But so if I wanted to keep drinking, I couldn't have kept drinking. But I decided not.
That would just absolutely kill.
That would just aggravate it. Yeah. And there would also be a bit of a like, fuck you to whoever did it. Hey, you remember that operation you did where you saved my life? Well, guess what? I'm pissing all over that every day.
Yeah, drank it fucking right undone. Yeah,
exactly.
You know what time it is? It is time for a fresh approach to dog food, and that is where the Farmer's Dog comes in. Developed by board-certified nutritionists, the Farmer's Dog is human-grade dog food that's made with real meat and veggies and gently cooked to preserve nutrients. They take the guesswork out of serving sizes by precisely portioning your dog's food based on their unique nutritional needs. The pre-portioned packs are simple to serve and ensure your dog is eating the right amount to keep them healthy and thriving. Look at Princess Lily Rose right here. Look at this coat. That's all Farmer's Dog right there. She loves chicken. Yeah, girl. She loves turkey. Like they said, comes in these pre-portioned packs with her name on it. They're easy to use, serve, save, all of it. Plus, the Farmer's Dog delivers right to your door, automatically sending you new food as soon as you're running low. And they have 24/7 customer support with real people. Get 50% off your first box of fresh, healthy food at thefarmersdog.com/honeydew. Plus, you get free shipping. Just go to thefarmersdog.com/honeydew to get 50% off. That's thefarmersdog.com/honeydew. The Honeydew is sponsored by Betterhelp. Traditional in-person therapy can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 per session, which adds up fast. But with Betterhelp online therapy, you can save on average up to 50% per session. With Betterhelp, you pay a flat fee for weekly sessions, saving you big on cost and on time. Therapy should feel accessible, not like a luxury, because your mental health is worth it, and now it's within reach. Every week we talk about therapy. This show is a mental health show, honestly. And if you think you need it, you do. Don't be scared of it. Give it a try. It's easy. It's comfortable. I promise you, it's worth it. All right. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. It's convenient too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, switch therapist at any time. Your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/honeydew to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/honeydew. Now, let's get back to the So it's not an issue for you to travel or anything like that?
No. It's literally
diet.
Nothing. It was amazing.
Just alcohol is really all you've had to do, and you're good to go.
Yeah, and I guess, I shouldn't try and get obese. That would not be a good move.
Try what?
I shouldn't try and get obese.
I see.
That. I mean, for many reasons, but that would also, as long as I'm just like reasonably healthy, then everything's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about your dog.
Yeah.
So your original dog's name was Mr. Piffles, is that correct?
Mr. Piffles.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you first introduce a dog into your act? Because I just want to ask, it seems like, look, as a stand-up, coming up with my own material, it seems like a lot to have to come up with your own material, perfect jokes, and then add a fucking animal to the mix.
Well, there's nothing more that I love than outraged comedians who would just look at me and be like, this is a gimmick on a gimmick on a gimmick on a gimmick. This is some bullshit. I'm out here with my jokes and you're there cheating this much.
I'm not looking at it like cheating. I'm looking at it like this guy's fucking introducing so many elements into this thing.
Because this is the thing with magic, is that magic is cheating unless you take it really seriously and you work really hard at it and you put, everything all of your resources into that one thing. Mm. And then it can be, great. But that's why there aren't many good magicians out there. But so what happened was, so I got better and I went, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to do any computer. I'm not going to live my life, on plan B.
Okay. So this also made you go for it.
So I went for it. And guess what? I got fired every single place I worked.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I was too grumpy. I just have this I just have a natural resting bitch face. Mm-hmm. And these people were like, I did a wedding, the Close Up Magic wedding. And this guy came up to me and they're like, what's your problem? You're like the Eeyore of magic. And then he fired me because he was the groom.
He was the groom.
And I used to say,
you the Eeyore of magic.
I used to say terrible things. Like I went up to the table in a little Italian restaurant, like 50 covers. And this couple are there. And I go up to the guy and to him and say, hey, I'm the magician here. Would you like to see some magic? And the guy scrapes his chair across this tile floor. He stands up and he says, my wife has just asked me for a divorce. Do you really think I want to see some fucking magic? And I said, I guess not, because she just made half your house disappear. And I was immediately fired. Immediately. And so I was just running out.
That one seems worth it.
I agree. Yeah. I'm like, come on, that's pretty good, guys. Anybody? But here's the thing. When you split a room as a comedian, right? Mm-hmm. But even when you split a room, you're still getting good laughs. Mm-hmm. Well, when you're doing close-up magic to tables of 6 people, if you split a table, that's just 3 people not laughing. Mm-hmm. And that is very, so I was doing all these jokes and I'd split tables and it was just, especially if you split a couple, that's the worst thing you can do. So I was like, I'm done. I got to get out of this job. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to get out. And then somebody invited me to a costume party and I want to go. and I don't have a costume. And I say to my sister, do you have a costume I can wear? And she's like, yeah, I got a dragon outfit under my bed. And I was like, I don't think I want to know any more about why it's under your bed. But I took it and I wore it. I walked across London in a dragon outfit, which is like, it's like, LA. It takes like an hour to get from side to side. So, except we have to use the public, buses and trains and shit. So I walk across, I get to the party, I go in, no one else is in costume. Just me in a dragon outfit.
In a dragon outfit, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, God. So now I'm like appropriately grumpy for once.
Why did you think it was a costume party?
They told me it was.
They did, okay.
And then when I arrived, they were like, yeah, we said not to worry about it. You didn't get that email? I was like, clearly not. So I'm there and my friend comes up to me because I look really pissed off. She's like, you should do this in your act. You could be Puff the Magic Dragon. And I was like, I could be Piff the Magic Dragon. You might have heard of my older brother, Steve. And I was like, that's not bad. That is not bad. And I did it. It took me another 6 months to do it, but I did it. And literally, as soon as I walked on stage, and I couldn't stop people laughing because it was just so dumb. And I was so angry, I was just like, I had this grumpy, resting bitch face in this outfit. I couldn't stop the laughing. I was like, oh, this is it. But it was good for 5 minutes. And I thought maybe that's all it will be, 5 minutes. But then I wanted to go and do the Edinburgh Festival. So you needed like an hour for that. So I wrote an hour and I went and did it. And it was fine for like 20 minutes. By that time I could do 20 minutes, But after that, it needed like a change of pace. How many
tricks is 20 minutes?
It is 3 or 4 tricks,
okay.
20 minutes. And I was like, this act needs something. And the girl who was running the venue, she had a dog. She had a little chihuahua. And so I was doing this, like, a trick with an arm chopper. So that was like that was like my B material. But at one point I had like, the audience member in the arm chopper. And I was like, listen, if you don't want to do this, we do have an alternative. And we brought out the dog. And then we, put the dog like near the arm chopper and everyone lost their shit. And I was like, this is pretty funny. So I just got divorced. And I was like, I don't want to date for like a year. I'm done. I just want to be on my own for a year. And I was talking to this girl. She was going on about how great having a dog was for company. And I was like, I think I'm going to get a dog. She's like, really?
Just in general, she's saying great companionship.
Amazing, yeah. Because I grew up with cats, but, and the chihuahuas especially they're like cats with love. They're like unconditional cats. So I was like, yeah, I want to get one. She found this dog on Gumtree, which is like Craigslist in Scotland. So we go and see this dog and it's just like awful. It's like this like ball of suffering. And it's like its teeth are like rotted, its coat's matted.
It's just someone's
shaking.
dog?
Someone's dog. Every time this kid walks into the room, he like starts cowering, obviously beaten up by the kid. And I was like, this is not a show business animal. And I rang up my friend. She said, look, just get the dog out of that space. Just like, just get him out. Like, you'll be able to, take him to the vets and get him well. And then if you don't want him, just rehome him. But just get him out of wherever he is. So I did. And then he went into the show. And on stage, people loved him.
Wait, real quick. Even though you got the dog, how quickly do you decide to put him on stage?
Oh, no.
He just ran out of his bag.
I tried it one day. The next morning, I got the dog. The next afternoon, the dog was in the show.
But did he like run out on stage while you were out there?
No.
And it happened that you brought him out?
He only came out, this is, and it was the same joke. This is the alternative. He goes back in, doesn't do anything, just like brought in and out. But so he could handle it. But the audience loved him. And then when I got back to London, I'd take him for an hour walk every day, took him to the vets, got his teeth done. First thing you do in show business. And
even the dog
getting his teeth. So,
what do they do for dogs' teeth? They
pull them out. That
they don't put a little.
There's no
grill for dogs.
Exactly,
Yeah. Okay.
So I started walking him, and he just over 3 months, he turned into this incredible show business animal. Like his hair, like suddenly, like washed it, like got him the right food. His coat was amazing.
He was a Pomeranian?
He was a Chihuahua.
Oh, he was a Chihuahua, sorry.
White, long-haired Chihuahua.
Long-haired, okay.
And people were like, oh my God, that dog is incredible. And what it did was, the act was a little bit too, it wasn't deadpan. I was trying to be deadpan, but it was a little too like grumpy, kind of like, what's that? Misanthropic, when you hate life. It was a bit too much like that. And then the dog just gave me that light. So now I had like, the two things. And so, yeah, I over the years, he became a big part of the show. And in the end, we did just over 15 years together. We probably did 5,000 appearances.
Wow.
Probably did 3,000 hour-long shows together. And just an incredible gift that I couldn't have ever. That's why, like, one my friend said this to me years later, and I was like, oh, that's what I was doing. She said, just say yes to things. Just like say yes and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was the time, when I was like, I was doing the Edinburgh show, wasn't really working. Like my love life was awful. And I just said yes to that. And like, it really things turned around. So he was incredible. And he passed away November last year. But before he did, when he was about 8, so he passed away when he was almost 17.
Oh, wow.
When he was 8, I was like,
that's old for a dog.
Yeah. He was like, anytime anything, if he would sneeze, we'd take him to the vets.
Yeah.
Shoot him up full of vitamin C or whatever dogs like. So what was I saying?
You said 17.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe around 8.
Yeah, but at 8,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I need to get a backup. So we found this dog, looked exactly the same, found him on eBay this time. And we meet this woman.
You get a dog on eBay?
Yeah.
Dude, I had no idea.
Pedigree Chihuahua on eBay. I met the woman outside of Wendy's in Victoria, which is like around here, isn't it? And like, she had like a bandage all over her arm, probably from where the puppy mill dogs were scratching her or whatever it was. So we got him again. He's a fun dog, but he hated stage. Just started trembling, wasn't for him. So then a few years later, we get another dog, another pedigree Chihuahua, this time from a breeder. This dog keeps growing. Now this dog is 16 pounds.
A Chihuahua?
My original Piffles was 5 pounds.
16?
I can't hold him up enough.
Is it a Chihuahua or is it a mixed?
We got him DNA tested.
Wow.
100% Chihuahua.
16 pounds.
Because I wanted the money back. I was like,
there's no way.
DNA tested. Oh, it's a Chihuahua. We can't. Okay. So he just became like in charge of morale because he's a super nice dog. So then I started reading in Korea, I think South Korea. They were having problems finding bomb sniffing dogs. Apparently, the most difficult dog to train is a bomb sniffing dog. Like a 5 or 10% success rate. So they found the successful dogs, they cloned them, and the new dogs had an 80 to 85% chance of success when you train them. And I was like, the only responsible thing to do right now is to clone Mr. Piffles. Not for me, for the good of the audience.
Sure.
They want him there at every show.
You've mentioned it a little bit before we recorded. I am blown away by this. I had no idea you could clone a dog.
Yeah.
And what year was this you did it in?
Oh, it wasn't long ago. He's the cloned dog who's called Fortune because it's our 4th dog and he cost a fortune.
That's great. Yeah.
He's 2 1/4. So probably
22.
Yeah, mid 22. Yeah. It took a while for it to take.
I have just a million questions. So I was saying to you, like, even though he's a clone, fully healthy, no weird side effects, genetic issues, no mutation, nothing weird.
I'm not. No, none.
Were you blown away by this?
I still can't believe it. Because here's the thing. I spent 15 years on stage with Mr. Imagine you do a double act, right? You know, who's a comedian you like? Any comedian.
God. Dave Chappelle.
Imagine you and Dave Chappelle. You work together for 15 years. You do 5,000 shows. And then he's like, oh, I don't feel good, dies. You're upset. But you're like, well, hang on a second. 2 years ago, I cloned Dave Chappelle. Now, I haven't really paid that much attention to the clone of Dave Chappelle because I've had the real thing. But now I need to see whether clone Dave Chappelle is just as good. And clone Dave Chappelle is exactly the same as the original Dave Chappelle you met, you know, on show 1. Exactly the same. Like, looks the same, acts the same.
That's the thing.
He's not the same as like the 15-year-old or the 17-year-old. He's the same as the dog that I rescued before I started training him. So now so that was crazy enough. So now I started training him, and now he starts doing exactly the things.
Hold on, man.
The new
This is blowing my mind. You're
crazy.
saying the same mannerisms, characteristics as Mr. Piffles before you took him. And then as you train him?
No, I'm saying before I had Mr. When I've got him, you know, I didn't really know what it was like because he was like...
he's just being a dog at that point.
And he was a rescue dog. So, you know, I have this puppy and the puppy's growing up. I didn't get Piffles till he was almost 2. So I don't know whether this is what Piffles looks like. He starts hitting this 2-year period and I'm like, that dog really looks similar. And I'm going back, taking out old photos, and you cannot tell them apart.
You really can't.
You cannot from the
Even
old photos.
you, the owner, can't.
From the photos.
Yeah.
And then just recently, we have this idea for a bit we want to put in the show, and with Piffles, I trained him to sit, lie down, took him for walks, but it was really funny because he did nothing. And now we've got an idea for a bit where he does something. So we're training this new dog, but I did train Piffles a little bit at the beginning. And the way Piffles responded all those years ago is the exact same way this dog responds to treats,
crazy.
The way he sits, the way he lies down.
Doesn't that blow your mind?
It's bananas. It's crazy. Crazy.
And are they genetically actually healthier then? Is this a dog that will live at least 15 years or is that?
I don't know.
I'm just so blown away by all this that there's not. And can I ask you, if you don't have to say, but what's something like that cost for real?
I tell you, it costs, including delivery.
They deliver it
tax,
to? Nah,
tax.
bro. What do you mean?
Here's how they deliver it as well. Because they were like, you can come and pick it up, and it was in Rochester. And we can't because we have the show all the time. So I sit on...
here, Rochester, New York?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said, what's delivery? And they said, we just get on a plane with the dog in a carry-on. I was like, oh yeah, do that. Just do that. And it was funny actually because we didn't want to give away... I didn't want to say, hi, I'm Piff the Magic Dragon. I'm looking to clone my magic performing chihuahua. So we were like very cagey with the company who did it. And we arranged to meet them at an airport, at Vegas airport, by the Starbucks. And we're there. We spent like 3 months, you know, like different email addresses, different names, everything like that. And we're waiting for this woman to arrive with the dog. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I look over and there's a huge billboard of me and Mr. Piffles.
Nah, dude.
Like directly opposite the Starbucks that I'd totally forgotten about. I was like, no. So our cover was blown immediately. But including delivery, $60,000.
$60,000. Yeah. I know that's an expense that goes into the show and everything.
You divide that by 5,000 and you have imagine you're paying Dave Chappelle $32 a show.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
Wow. And who's the person, or how did you even find out about this, that it was doable?
I think I read the article. You know, I just like it's either work or read newspapers on the internet. So I do that instead. And then when I found that, I started Googling it and finding out all this information. But yeah, like,
can I ask you, what do they need to do? What do they take from take from original Mr. Piffles?
I'm not very good at listening to instructions. So when they said, you know, this is the samples we need, I was like, great, I'll just tell the vet. And we've got this amazing vet to do it, but it's actually pretty invasive. And you know, they have to cut and like go in like quite deep to get the samples. And afterwards I was like, oh shit, if I had known that, I would have probably because you can do it when your animals pass away as well.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So then they don't have to go through that.
Like pretty quickly though?
Yeah, you have to like within a couple of days. And obviously like it depends how your animal passed away. But I mean, I'm sure it's fine because, the Piffles went, they given anesthetic and when they remove the samples. But yeah, they take these samples out and then they multiply them and then that DNA is just there whenever you're ready to clone. But here's the thing.
Wait, I'm sorry, real quick. Does that DNA still exist? Could you have another clone?
Well, here's the thing. It works so well. When he was in the show and he was just killing it, and I was like, this is unbelievable.
You still call him Mr. Piffles? What do you call him at the house? What's his name?
Fortune.
Fortune. Oh, that's right, because he calls the
in
Fortune.
the show,
He's a fourth one.
Piffles has died now. So we show a 3-minute video, which is like, I'll send it to you. It was like a love letter to Piffles and everything he did for me because he changed my life.
Yeah.
Absolutely changed my life. So we
you
show
ever
that.
thank the girl that said, hey, you should think about it.
Yeah. But we show that, and then afterwards we have a slide that says the role of Mr. Piffles will be played by Mr. Piffles 2. And then we just refer to him as Mr. Piffles throughout the show.
Got it. Okay.
So,
but you said it works so well. Like that DNA still exists somewhere. You could again clone Mr. Piffles.
Well, we sell them on the website.
What?
You can buy a chihuahua. You can buy a Mr.
No.
Piffles. Yeah,
What are you talking about?
Go to piffswag.com.
This shit right now.
And honestly, I think it's a good investment, Ryan, and I think you should do it while we're on air.
What is it again? Say it.
Piffswag.com. Piff swag.com.
My fat finger tight. There we go. Piffswag.com. Yeah. Embrace your inner dragon. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all swag. There's a plush.
Yeah.
Mr. Piff. Do I keep going down
Keep
here?
going.
Where do I go here? I'm down at the book, the pizza,
Yeah.
poster, cloned Mr. Piffles for $120,000. No way, dude.
Yeah. Look, I've got to cover my costs. You know what I mean, Ryan?
Dude, that's funny. Split your purchase into installments. That's introducing Mr. Piffles, the world's only magic performing chihuahua clone. Now you can have the magic of. So let me ask you this. If I get me a Mr. Piffles clone here on your site at piffswag.com, is it going to act and behave like Mr. Piffles?
It's very inclined to. That's what it is.
Have you done it again?
Yeah, we did it again. It worked so well.
Wait,
we did it again.
No, you
because I didn't want to get into a situation where I just had one dog again.
So wait, have you had them interact with each other?
Yeah.
Is that weird? Like it's
no,
them.
because it's what they are is they're genetic twins. So
this is what I want to ask you.
Twins.
So you're not an offspring or a child of. You're
the soul
a
doesn't
twin.
split.
Yeah, I'm a twin, so I get it.
Yeah. So that's exactly genetic twin. So we did it again because it works so well. But this time, because they I don't really know how this works, and honestly, I'm not sure I need to know how this works. But they put more, they fertilize more eggs than one, to ensure you get one.
Yeah.
And this time we got twins.
That's just like people here who plant the eggs in their bodies and then they have triplets or Octomom had 8 of them. Yeah.
So we got
you have
twins this time.
So now you have 3 Mr.
But
Piffles.
here's the great thing is you only pay for the whole litter. So now they're only $30,000 each.
Oh,
so they're really getting affordable at this stage.
Yeah.
You know?
They're not jacking you up like, hey, we got 2.
The other day, I went to Singapore, right? Mm-hmm. That's where my dad's born. I went on vacation. And we went with Singapore Airlines, the second longest flight in the world in duration.
How long?
It's 18 hours.
Oh.
Brutal. So we, because we do gigs everywhere, we have all this status with Delta. So we get like all these, I'll get first for like, we can pay for it just on points. It's amazing. But on Singapore Airlines, 0 status. So I'm like, okay, I'll just buy an economy ticket. Okay, it's $6,000 for 2 tickets for 2. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot.
An economy?
An economy for 18 hours. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of a lot. And then we're like, you know what? We're doing a show and then we're getting a plane. And then we don't have many days off. Let's just see how much business is. $26,000. US.
For 2 tickets?
Yeah, that's the upgrade fee. So overall, $32,000. I'm like, you could get a clone. You could clone half a dog for the cost of their airline. So, when you put it in terms of like air travel, it's not that expensive cloning animals. No.
Compared to air travel.
Compared to flying to Singapore.
That is wild, man. That's really, I learned some brand new stuff today.
Yeah.
I know we got to get you out of here in a little bit. Can we talk quickly about your Vegas show? And you mentioned crashing and burning, and I want to hear about that.
So this Penn and Teller, I do this thing on Penn and Teller, goes bananas. I land a small part in a big Vegas show from that gig. 10-year contract. Moved my whole life over here. And
you got a 10-year gig off?
10-year contract.
Wow.
Like crazy money too. Crazy. And
excuse me, you're only a part of this thing.
Only a part. But it's only 4 days a week. And on the dark days, they say they're going to produce my show.
Oh, great.
Because I love doing hour-long shows. Like in Vegas, it's actually an hour and a half. But so I'm like, great, this is amazing. This is my dream come true. I go over there. Day one, I'm in rehearsals. I look around. I'm like, oh my God, these people have no idea what's going on. This is going to crash them, but it's a disaster. So I immediately apply for a green card. 7 months later, the show bombed, like implodes. So now I'm on my own in Vegas, having moved my life out there. And I try, but I want to stay. So I try everything I can to get my own show in Vegas, but nobody knows who I am. So eventually, I end up on America's Got Talent.
At what age? How old are you when you hit America's Got Talent?
35.
And how old were you for the Penn and Teller show?
31.
Okay, so it's 4 years in
4
between
years,
a big prominent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go on it, and it does great. It blows up again. I get I got like a golden buzzer or whatever from Neil Patrick Harris, which is really funny because in that Vegas show, the original Vegas show, he came to the opening night, and I heard, and I think somebody was lying to me, but I heard he hated my act. So when I go on America's Got Talent and I see him there, I'm like, oh no, this is the worst. This is how it's gonna. But he gave me the golden buzzer. That made my career, that stuff, and I got my own Vegas show out of it, and in a small room, and we just worked as hard as we could to build that up and build the road up and, back and forth, working 7 days a week for, I really, until the pandemic. So almost 5 years doing that. And then in the pandemic, everyone goes to social distancing, and we were in a small room in the Flamingo, and Donnie and Marie Osmond were in the big room, but they left.
They were still performing?
They were still performing.
How fucking old are they?
Donnie's still going strong, and it's a killer show.
Is it?
This is how crazy it is. He does a 12-minute rap in that show about his career, and it's the greatest thing.
12 minutes?
That show defies all...
they were teenagers, I want to say, when I was at least a kid. They got to be in their 60s,
5 years old.
70s. Yeah.
It's incredible. So they move out of the showroom. So we move into the showroom, socially distanced. And then it just kept going, better and better. So then we just we signed a contract. We re-signed now. And I've got Marie's dressing room.
Do you really?
Yeah. She had a steam shower put in. So I've got my own steam shower there.
Hell yeah. Good for you, man. Good for you.
But that's just been it's been so crazy because Magic, it's like we tour, but we can't do every trip we want on tour because these things are so difficult to move around. So in Vegas, it's like our Super Bowl show. We love it.
That's great, man. Thank you for coming on here and doing
Thanks
this
for having us.
real. Before I let you go, I do want to see you do a magic trick, but advice you would give to 16-year-old Piff the Magic Dragon. What would you tell John at 15?
I would tell John at 15, hey, this thing about having a backup? Maybe you want to have a plan A before your plan B. Yeah. Maybe spend time on plan A before because I spent a lot of years working on plan B. And it was only when I just jumped out the plane.
That's great. Yeah.
That it all took off. You have a favorite card?
Yes, I do. I mean, probably a lot of. I love the 8 of spades and the ace of spades. They're my favorite.
The ace
cards.
of spades is very common.
Yeah, that's why I said I like. Give me an 8 of clubs. I'll say that's my favorite card.
Here's the thing, though.
Okay.
I turned one card face down in this deck,
Okay.
and that was your favorite card. Now I'm going to give you the chance right now to change your mind.
Wait, you're saying in that deck right now they're all facing
All face
one way
up.
except for the 8 of clubs, which
Or maybe I know what your favorite card really is, and you haven't quite got there yet. Or maybe it's the 8 of clubs.
Okay.
What do you think it is?
I mean, today I'm gonna say I don't know if I've ever really had a favorite one, to be honest. And
Maybe I knew that.
Maybe you did. 8's my favorite number, but I can't say I have a favorite suit, to be honest with you.
Well, but the problem is that whatever you say is by definition your favorite, because you're choosing it over the others.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're Sophie's choicing that card.
I am, yes.
Right. But you can still change your mind. The important thing is that once you settle on it, there's no going back.
I'm gonna stick with 8 of clubs.
Really?
Then. Yeah.
That's a shame. That's a real shame. Every single one of the playing cards is the same way around, except for one single playing card just there.
Mm-hmm. Get the fuck out of my fucking face.
Oh my God. Just
listen, man, I've never fucking met you. I even wavered on what I was gonna say, and there it fucking is. That's
I think
phenomenal.
you need to question
dude.
some life choices after this.
John Vanderput, Piff the Magic Dragon, thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
coming
having
on
me.
here. Promote one more time, all of it, please.
PiffTheMagicDragon.com. Google. Just Google PiffTheMagicDragon.com. Just Google it. Google Piff the Magic Dragon. You'll figure it out.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. As always, Ryan Sickler on all your social media, ryansickler.com. We'll talk to y'all next week.